In today's episode, I am talking to successful retailer Jennifer Shorter, owner of Grandpa Shorter's Gifts. And I've known Jennifer for many years. She's doing a lot of really cool things with her store. She is super rooted in retail. And we have a conversation today that I feel like is not talked about enough. And the beginning of this conversation, my first question to Jennifer and my last question, man, the advice that she gives retailers is so incredibly important. So please listen to this episode. Take what she has to say to heart. And if you need help, you can reach out to Jennifer. You can reach out to me. We are here for you. I just really hope that you take action on this episode. And then there's some really great stuff in the middle too about, trends and about experiences and events, really creative events. You're going to love some of these things that Jennifer's doing and how she plans some of these events. So very tactical, inspiring episode today. I'm so excited for you to tune in. Before we dive in, here's a little bit more about Jennifer. Jennifer Shorter is a third-generation retailer, artist, and retail consultant based in Petoskey, Michigan. She owns Grandpa Shorter's Gifts and its sister stores, curates joyful shopping experiences, plans community events, and helps other retailers thrive through creative consulting and merchandising support. We've linked to all of Jennifer's site and socials, so be sure to connect with her. And if you found value in this episode, please rate and review, and let's dive in. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. Jennifer, welcome to Rooted in Retail. I am thrilled you're here.
Thank you, Crystal. I'm excited to be here and honored as well.
Yes, I know this is going to be such a great conversation. I've heard you speak at some different events, and you said something that was like, "Ooh, that was so good." We're going to get into it on the show. But before we do, will you just take a couple minutes and share more about you and your retail journey?
I am the third generation proprietor of Grandpa Shorter's Gifts. We've been located on the same corner of Lake and Petoskey Streets in downtown Petoskey, Michigan since 1946 when my grandparents started the store. We're in the same location. We've grown over the years. It used to just be a summer shop, and then it became year-round. And it's really fed my entrepreneurial journey because I ended up growing up in the store. When my grandfather passed away in 1983, I started coming here every day after school and fell in love with it, ended up going to business school, and I always said, someday I'll go home, someday I'll take over the store. But my real dream was to work in corporate America and wear the red high heels and be a boss babe, right? Before that was a term. And that lasted about a year, and my dad called and he said, "Hey, you didn't come home after graduation, so we're going to sell the store." And I was like, "Oh, wait, I'll be home in 2 weeks." And that's what I did.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. And you are doing some really cool things, which we'll get into today. I think that our retailers will be inspired, and you're doing fun things. But before we go in there, we were at the Whiz-Bang Training Retail Success Summit virtual, and you were one of the panelists, and you said something about exiting your store. And as we were prepping for this, because you made the decision to close one of your stores, and you said not because you had to financially, but because it made your life easier and more enjoyable. And at the summit, you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember this correctly, I didn't fail. I came back to myself. And I was just like, I got chills. I got emotional. I was just like, that is really powerful. And I was so happy that you said that to other retailers, because I think that, closing a store, people can feel like I failed, or they don't want to talk about it or whatever. And so I really want you to just take us into that moment. Like, what led to that decision? How did you navigate it? And what has it taught you about success?
Obviously we have this store on the corner. It's our main store. It's our main focus. Been in business for 79 years. And 4 doors up, about 25 years ago, my parents and I opened a second store. And then about 7 years ago, I decided I wanted to expand and wanted a third store. So I took over the building next door to us and put in a store called the Katie Did, and a different focus, different merchandise, but yet still same family and things like that. And while I enjoyed putting it together, I discovered over a over time that I didn't love it and that I was kind of beating my head against a wall, like trying to get everything done. Because then in addition to that, 2 years ago, I opened a candy store. So then I had 4 stores, 2 in one building and then 2 separate buildings. When you expand, and while that might be the traditional notion of success is to expand and get bigger and bigger, right? Personally, it wasn't successful because I wasn't sleeping. I was moody. I was working all the time. I wasn't doing the things that fed my soul. And we're entrepreneurs, right? So we all work hard. We all get that, but it shouldn't be the only thing in life we do. We should have other passions outside of that. So when I realized that I wasn't getting my enjoyment out of it, right? I decided that I needed to do less. And how I came about that was at the same time, my husband and I had been asked by another business owner in town. They wanted to give us their business. They wanted us to just take it over because that's how they had gotten it 20 some years ago and like that. So in doing my due diligence and looking at that business, I was like, yeah, okay, I could do this and I could make more money. But then I realized I didn't even want what I already owned, much less adding another store. And so my definition of success had to change. It wasn't about being bigger. It was about what could I do that made me more fulfilled. And so when you don't want to get out of bed anymore to go to work because you're so burned out, like something has to change. And so again, we don't talk about it as retailers about closing businesses. We don't talk about stepping back, because I think so many of us think of it as a failure, and it's not. So when we came to the conclusion we didn't want to get this other business, then I was like, okay, I don't even want what I have. So what do we do? And I really decided that that was the store that wasn't helping me fill my bucket. And before I had opened that store, I kind of had life in a really good place. So in talking about it with my husband, we decided to close it. And then I am part of WizBank's Platinum Mastermind group. So right after we made that decision, we went to an in-person meeting in Chicago, and I did one of their hot seats. And I said, this is what I've already made the decision. I'm closing. Like, don't talk me out of it. I don't want to fix anything, but this is what I've done. How do I tell my customers and my community, as well as my employees, that I'm not failing? My businesses aren't completely closing down. I'm just taking a different path than what I have been doing. And so really that group of people with Bob and Susan at the lead helped me craft that message, that it was a consolidation. It was meant for my mental health. And I wrote a letter to my community and I said, this is what I'm doing. And it's not about failure. It's not, this business hasn't failed, but I need a little more time for myself. Yep. And so many people over the last 6 or 7 months have come up to me and thanked me for admitting that, because they're like, we didn't know how you were doing it all. How could you, people got it, especially in my community. Yeah, it's been really good.
Dang. I am so glad we're having this conversation on the show, because there's so many things I want to say to this, but to just keep it tight, it's okay to change. I just want our retailers to know it is so okay to change your mind or decide, I want to grow, I want to open, I want to scale back, I want to do something different. Like, it is okay to change. And I think sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves. Like, what would the community think if I close this? What do my family and friends think if I close this? And we'll live our life for that versus, what do I want? If you're not jumping out of bed or, and look, we're not going to be jumping out of bed every day, but like being excited and fulfilled and finding that, like you said, you were fine before that. Like, life is good before that. And the other thing that I'll just add is I feel like, being a small business owner myself and talking to a lot of retailers and small businesses, I think we get to a point where you can kind of get bored in your business. And like, if you really just step back and measure what success does mean to you and really look at what you have, you might actually be like, wow, actually I have something really great, and boring could be good. We maybe just need to go find a hobby or something personal to do, right? Versus like more with business. But I feel like we're so conditioned to succeed, to push, to grow next level. And it doesn't always need to be like that. So I'm just so grateful for you, sharing, being vulnerable, and congratulations on honoring yourself.
Thank you.
Because that's hard. Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. So now I kind of want to shift gears a little bit here because you have grown up in retail. You've ran multiple stores in this tourist heavy downtown. What are some of the biggest shifts you've seen in the way that customers shop, and how have you adapted over all these years?
I don't know that it's a shift. I've kind of seen the same thing, but what's interesting to me is that we used to be a little more even in our off seasons. Our off seasons were predictable. They weren't going to be great, but they were going to be kind of this level. Now we're super, super busy, more busy in the summer, more busy in our summer or in our fall season. And then everything else just kind of does this, which is different than it used to be. And that's hard to adapt because, January, February, March, April, which is when all retailers starve, right? We are in this tourist destination where people don't come to us because we're covered in ice and snow and it's cold and it's awful out. So we have to make sure that we're providing events and entertainment to get people to come to see us. I would say that's a big shift.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting that kind of flatlined a little bit. But I think events, obviously, do you do much from an e-commerce perspective?
We have had an e-commerce site for years and years and years, and we just don't get any traction on it.
Okay.
So we try, we've done different things. We end up finding what sells the best are our tickets to our events or to our classes and things like that. Or our baskets. We do a lot of gift baskets and bundles.
Awesome. Okay. I can see that. I've talked to different retailers in different tourist areas, and similar, I feel like either e-com just doesn't do much for them, or there has been some where it has helped during off seasons of really getting your clients who are there during the tourist months to then continue to shop online. But it can be kind of a hit or miss sometimes with e-com. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So now with several stores that you're running under this one, brand family, how do you differentiate the experience in each location, and how do you stay creative without burning out?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So our store up the street, JW Shorter and Son Mercantile, definitely skews for women and definitely older a little bit than Grandpa Shorter's. Grandpa Shorter's is more where you bring the whole family in, everybody walks out with something fun. JW is more where mom and grandma and the baby go and find good stuff, home decor, things like that. And then our candy store. So our candy store is just pure fun. It's always been on my retail bucket list to own a candy store. So that's what I opened 2 years ago. And so that's fun. And that's a whole new thing. You talk about being bored in retail, right? Sometimes we're in our jobs. And that brought me excitement, and I'm learning new things like, about pops and candies and all sorts of goodies. But in terms of not getting burned out, it's really having my staff help me in terms of what are people asking for? What products should I bring in? What things do we need to get rid of? And then it's interesting because I'll bring in something and in my mind, it'll go to Grandpa Shorter's, and all of a sudden, I'll be like, I know we got that. Where'd it go? Oh, well, that went to JW. And I'll be like, no. I wanted it for here. Sometimes it's hard to get out of the mold that we're in for one particular store because people assume it's something when maybe I'm trying to change direction.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also hearing, it sounds like you really understand your customer. There's an identity of the buyer for each of these locations and products. So when you really understand them, then obviously from a product perspective, events, how to really call out and make that experience unique to them in these different locations. Awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot, right? And in our candy store right now, and this is really simple, and I think everybody could learn from this. We took a whiteboard and hung it up in our candy store. And we're like, what candy do you want us to have? And people of all ages write on it, right? Yeah. It's how we found out about Dubai chocolate and that craze, months ago. So we have it out there, and every week somebody writes all those things down for me and then erases it and we start over. But that's letting customers help direct what we carry.
I love that idea. I'm glad you shared it because it is so simple. Ask the customers. They also love being a part of that. Doing it in your store, I love. And I think that can turn into social media content where you then put that on social and people can be voting there too.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, ways to engage them. That's really cool. I love it. My husband, by the way, is a huge candy guy, loves candy. Anytime we're traveling anywhere, if there's a candy store, we have to go in. So now I'm so curious, what would he vote? Because he loves too many things. I'm it's hard to pick. I have huge news. The Independent Retailers Association is live. We are so excited to announce that this online community is here to support independent retailers. We believe that it is the independent era. This is your time to shine. You have so many advantages to stand out, to grow customer experience, to get found online, to be a modern retailer that is relevant to today's consumer. And we want to help aid you in all of that, which you'll find on the Independent Retailers Association. Now, we call it INDERA, short for Independent Era. This is your era, and we're here to just amplify that with you and with all the other independent retailers who are inside of our community. So if you want to join us, membership starts as low as just $25 a month to join the community, get access to education, resources done for you, AI training, and more. Head to joinindera.com. That's join, INDERA.com to see the different membership levels and learn about what we are up to. So I would love to see you on the inside and love to help you grow your store. So head on over to joinindera.com and let's get back to the episode. Okay, so you're not just a retailer, you are definitely a community builder. What are a few of your favorite local events or activations that have worked really well in driving traffic and building loyalty?
So we've created several different events and then invited our neighbors to join us. So one is Witches Night Out. And the first year we did that, we only promoted this online and with bag stuffers in the store. We had like over 600 people dressed up as witches and warlocks hanging out in our town. And it's the last Friday night in September, and people came out and they loved it. They were just so excited, like to be able to dress up and to be seen.
Yeah.
Some of these people would say like, oh, I don't do community events, but this one was for me, like very interesting. And then this past year, we created a banana bread festival in February when people don't get out and about in northern Michigan very often. We had 85 entrants. We had hundreds of people come through town, sample the banana bread, and people loved it because they're like, oh, this is so much fun. I get to show off my baking skills and see other people. And they've asked for other contests like a mac and cheese bake-off and things like that.
Oh, that's cool. Both of those events, to your point, they want to be seen. The customer is being seen and honored and appreciated. And so anybody listening, I would challenge you to really look at your events and the ways that you're communicating with your customers. Like, how are you helping them be seen? How are you giving them an outlet to be creative or check out or bake or have fun, like things like that. 600 witches and warlocks is pretty amazing. I love that. I also love that it wasn't in October. Like, I love that it was in September, something different. Like, I don't know. That's really cool.
Well, and how we pick September is October is a super busy leaf peeper month for us. So we're super busy. You can't get into hotels. It's hard to get into restaurants. September is a little quieter. And we really wanted to make sure that our locals knew that it was for them. And at the end of September, it's nicer weather and it's lighter longer and,
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Jennifer, don't you also have an event where like you had some like what is it called? The mountain guy, that ran for mayor.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Can you share that story?
We love costumes. So my mom dressed us up in costumes starting in the early 80s here in the store. So we have a costume closet that rivals many theaters, I swear.
Oh my gosh.
And we bought a Bigfoot costume and we ran Bigfoot for president last year.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I had 2 job offers from politicians in our community who were like, oh, you should run my campaign because look at how many people you got here and everything like that. We had speeches. He was stumping. He was in the parade. We had T-shirts made. It was so much fun. So that it's just like silly little things that you can do, right? Like,
yeah.
And how we came up with the Banana Bread Festival was literally because I was looking at a list of closeouts from one of my sock vendors, and they had banana bread socks. Who makes those? I don't know. Anyway, and they were $1. And I was like, so I ordered 72 pairs and I was like, or 100 pairs. And I was like, what can I do with them? And then I created a Banana Bread Festival because of these fun socks.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
low priced item. Can I do something creative with this? Have a decent margin, throw it in there. I mean, like, yeah, that's awesome. A different way of looking at product and events. And I think that that's good because we sometimes get stuck in always doing what we've always done. And that could get stale. Your customers feel that. So changing it up, being creative. That's so cool. And the Bigfoot, you have pictures on your social, right? Like,
Oh, yes,
we'll link.
definitely.
We'll link to the social. Go check them out. So fun. I cannot believe that you got job offers. That is so incredible. I love it. So good. Oh, so fun. Okay, Jennifer, I want to know, what advice would you give to retailers who feel stretched thin but are afraid to make bold moves, whether that's closing a location, changing directions, or just choosing joy over hustle?
I would say pick one thing that's going to make your life better and do it. And you're going to feel so much better, and everything else gets easier once you've done that. And then you can look at other things and say, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that, or no, I'm going to do this. And you can make that change. And change, while it's hard, once you've made the decision, leap in and do it.
Yeah.
You're going to feel so much better. It's amazing. Like, we made the decision in October to close the Katie did. We launched it at the end of October. My goal was to be done by the end of December. And I was. And let me tell you, like, this is the first summer in a long time. So summer in Northern Michigan is absolutely beautiful. It's why we live here year round, so we can have summer, right? So my passion right now is painting. So I do a lot of landscape painting and all sorts of other stuff. But anyway, so yesterday I went and competed in a plein air paint contest, and I got to spend all day at the beach painting the water. And it was an enjoyable, beautiful day. And a year ago, I was so drowning this time. There was no way I could have done that. I was working 7 days a week. I had no joy in my life, and I was exhausted. So Please make sure you prioritize yourself. Because then when you prioritize yourself, you're going to get more done at work because you have more joy in everything else.
So true. Well said. And I also just want to say, like to your point, pick one thing. We feel like sometimes so many things need to be changed, but honestly, it can just be one and make a really big difference.
Yeah.
And I was re-listening to 10X is easier than 2X. And a great book, I forget who the authors are now, but you can Google it and find it. And one of their principles in the book was less is more. If you actually want to scale and grow, you need to cut. And it's like the rose bush, right? We've got to prune the rose bush to allow for it to have growth. And
Very true.
Really looking where you can prune and cut back. And it doesn't always have to be more money, more, business success. How do you put a price on painting yesterday at the beach and like that soul fulfillment that you have? I mean, it's invaluable. So I love it.
Very much. Yes.
All right, Jennifer, are you ready for the resilience round?
I'm ready. All right.
Okay. Best business book.
The Character Code.
Ooh, okay. I haven't heard of that one. I got to check it out.
Yes, please do.
Best retail technology, like an app or software.
Brilliance Retail Training. We have built our own training platform within Brilliance for training our employees. Best decision I've made this summer. They're all being trained the same way each and every time, and I don't have to do it because I've done it.
So good. I also just want to give a plug for Brilliance. We've got courses on there. And in the early stages of this being built, I beta tested it. I'm like, this is such an easy to use platform for retailers to put their training on. Like, we'll link to it in show notes. If you don't know what Brilliance is and you have a team and you have training or you want to learn all sorts of different retail things, check out Brilliance. We'll link to it. So good. How do you keep up with the ever-changing retail landscape?
So I'm in the Platinum Mastermind group. I listen to your podcast, Crystal. I'm always reading and I'm watching. I'm watching for trends, and I'm talking to people that are not my age.
Yes. Smart. Yeah. So good. If you had to do your business all over again, what's one thing you'd do differently?
I wouldn't have expanded 7 years ago into my third store. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. Yeah, you would not have, or you would have?
I would not have. No, I would not have built that other store. Yep.
Okay. And finally, Jennifer, what do you think the future of independent retail looks like?
I think it's a continuation of being entertainment first.
Ooh. Oh, yes. I so agree. Jennifer, where could people learn more and connect with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Jennifer Shorter in Petoskey. And also our website for our store is grandpashorters.com. And I am starting to do a little consulting on the side. So if you're interested in talking to me, having me help you through issues and things like that, having me give you advice on how to close a store or how to choose joy, something like that, I'm here for it.
Amazing. You're such a good person to do that. So congrats on adding that. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and being here. This was such a great conversation. So thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Thank you, Crystal.
Yes,
I enjoyed it.
Yay, me too. Everyone, remember that I am rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.